What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I know we ran a little bit late on that one. We're still waiting on Garrick a little bit for a second, but he should be here any second. So I just thought to start the stream real quick. Might as well keep you guys entertained. What up, Car? How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, man?
And not doing too bad, you know. Freaking got an expo tomorrow, so we'll be going to that. So that should be pretty fun. Hopefully some kids want to buy some Christmas snakes.
Where's that?
It's over in Toledo.
No.
About an hour or so drive, so it's not terrible. I said I got rid of a couple of those first clutch, so hopefully I can get rid of the rest of them. You know, we'll see how that works out. So
does that one turn out to be pretty decent, or is it pretty small?
It depends. Honestly, it depends on the day, man. Like there's the Halloween one was packed, but me and Will weren't feeling the best on that one, so we didn't end up going to that. So I guess I was talking to the guy that runs it and stuff, and he was like, "Man, it was packed." I'm like, of course it was. Go figure. So I'm hoping this one's back. So
I've been to my local one. You could pretty much stand in one spot, do a circle, and you've seen everything.
Really?
It's so small, yeah.
It's a little bit bigger than that. Like, I mean, it's probably like, I don't know, maybe 40 or so vendors and stuff, but it's all like your basic, you know, pet type, you know, jeans and whatnot.
That's kind of like what ours was. You're not going to find something crazy out there. You're just gonna, you know, find some pastels or something, maybe a pie here and there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can get your good starter snakes and stuff, but I
guess that's about what it is. Yeah,
that's probably where I'm gonna end up selling all those single gene and, you know, whatever I can't sell off Morph Market. Try to take them to the expo. Like it's one of those places you're not gonna go take a $2,000 snake to, probably. You know,
no,
you might. You know, maybe just one, but I mean, you're probably
just takes that one customer.
It does. I have seen them go though. Like my one buddy Tom had some dreamsicles he took over there. He actually sold them. So
those sell like hotcakes, man.
Yeah. I was actually pretty impressed with that. So yeah. I mean, how's your breeding going?
It's going. Of course, right now I had it all planned out how I was going to breed and who I'm pairing up this year, and so far that hasn't worked at all for me. None of those males want to hook up with that female that I want to do. So keep trying.
Backup males, right?
Backup males for sure.
I learned that one the hard way too. Yeah, I had that red stripe Enchi clown I had. I'm like, oh, we're gonna make some double heads and stuff like that. Doesn't want to breed. No.
Yeah, see, I got one project where I don't have a backup male, so it's like I'm just keep trying that same male over and over. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah,
you gotta do this for me.
So I learned the hard way on that. So I did invest in a couple of backup. Actually, the one male that I have is actually more of a powerhouse than the other one, and he's actually ahead.
Really?
So we'll see what happens. But that's one of the secrets. Oh, there you go, Paul. Oh no, what's he got? I have no idea. So we'll see what happens. So like I said, it should be a nice season for me. I did have the super GHI hypo lock up to the leopard DG hypo boy. So we're gonna play Who's Your Daddy clutch. So that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Hey, that'd be nice to get a split clutch out of that one.
You see Paul, he's like, you bastard. That's funny. He's like, you don't tell all. I don't know. I'm on Gershon's podcast here the 13th. So me and Gershon will be doing a one-on-one. So
okay.
So I may or may not, but I won't show him. Don't worry, Paul. It's not happening. I did have that one expensive. That shit out fire. I did have that one expensive winter pickup too, as well. That I have right now. So I mean, that's the powerhouse female. I'll let you know that. That's all I'm telling you, Paul. That's all you get to know.
Yeah. I know what it is.
You know what it is. There's not many people.
Pastel.
Pastel. Just pastel. That's it.
Yes. 50% het pied.
50% het clown. Let's go. Everyone wants pastel and clown, right, Car?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
You're not a snake breeder unless you got a pastel clown.
That's true. I mean,
I don't care who you are.
We're just teasing Paul right now. He's like, I hate you guys. That's great. What have you paired up so far this year, man?
Well, the one that I didn't have a backup male for that I'm been trying, which is pastel leopard freeway het clown to a highway het clown. So I don't have any other yellow belly males to breed to her. So that's my other one. And pretty much other than that, I'm just making hets this year, it seems like. I got a crystal going to my pastel clown. I got my fire leopard spot nose het clown boy breeding to my regular clown. Just kind of simple, making
those ones right now.
Nothing too excited. Yeah, I tried to pair Wookie Boy up to some females and no luck. So
he ain't having it right now?
No, he ain't doing it. So I figured he's just going to next year.
You're hoping next year? See, that's how I thought with that Leopard DG Hypo boy. I was like, man, like, he wasn't locking, and now all of a sudden he wants to lock. I'm like, yes. Like,
right.
So
right.
That's pretty exciting. But she also locked to that super NC GHI Hypo boy too. So we said everything's gonna be Hypo regardless. But anything that's not anything that's not NC in that clutch, the other male sired it. So we'll see. It'll be a fun who's your daddy clutch. It'll be exciting. That'll be exciting. A cutting one right there. So I got a couple that are bull wrapping right now. They're still eating.
Yeah.
So you have any bull wrappers?
Yeah, my super fire that's possible for like 5 other things, so I'm trying to prove her out. She's huge right now. And then I got my GHI Coral Glow Mojave female that's bull wrapping.
That's nice. I got that super vanilla, a super lemon pastel girl that's bull wrapping. That only wants to lock up to the banana Mojave. That's it. That's all she wants to.
That's the way it works.
Try to
That's the way it works.
Out of her, whatever. Try to get the lemon pastel in there. No, just wants to lock out to the banana. That's it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Come on. So it's not all easy and fun and games, guys, when it comes to breeding. It just doesn't work that way sometimes.
No, I paired my leopard spot nose boy also to the GHI Mojave Coral Glow girl. So everything would be 50% het clown. So I figured that might be the one I'd do some genetic testing on just to try it out.
Right. Yeah. So you can do that genetic testing so that you can see it with the clown and stuff like that. I think it's
when everyone's clown, then I'll keep those.
I think it's like a $75 to get that tested and stuff. So I mean, it's not bad. It is what it is. It's not a bad idea. I don't know if they can test. I don't know if they can test hypo or anything like that yet. I have no idea.
No, I heard hypo's not one. It's pretty much your main like pied clown, lavender. I think's one. Yeah, it's pretty much just your main. Your albinos.
Paul plans on having a DG hypo. Here, I'll give you an update on this girl real quick. One of the good old Tinley pickups. Give you guys an update on how she's doing. There you go. Fresh fed. Looking pretty
Dang.
Good. Love it. Super clean. And of course, doesn't do her justice. Oh, look, she's saying hi. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
Say hi, Paul.
Bite the camera.
So there you guys go. Pretty dope.
Heck yeah.
Belly. Gotta love it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like that DG hypo stuff, man. He's like, I really hate you. No, you don't, Paul. Come on. You can be a customer of my DG hypo stuff. I got some good quality stuff for you coming. Okay, how about that? You can have first dibs if you want it. Okay, you won't hate me then. Give it to you on the low. I don't know about that, but
sound dirty.
So you guys have any questions besides Paul on any do you guys want to know or anything? Like anything in particular? Still waiting for Garrett.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I forgot about lace. That is something I would like to get into as well. Yeah, those
Definitely.
lace combos, man. I don't know. I personally think the white lace looks better than the DG. Because we've seen Kabelka's racks. Remember when we went over there, Justin?
Oh yeah.
That white lace clown he has looks so much.
That thing was silly. Yeah, it looked a lot better as an adult.
Yes.
It's weird because it's like the white lace, the DG looked better than the white lace as a baby, but then as an adult, the white lace looked better than the DG.
Oh, by far. Like it was, you can definitely tell. Like it was way brighter. It wasn't
Yep.
it doesn't yellow it out as much as the DG does, because like DG tends to yellow out things a little bit as it ages.
Yeah.
I mean, it still looks good, but like I said, you do get a little bit of a yellowish tint to it. I noticed, so that's pretty interesting. Another thing I did learn too was if you breed a super banana, guys. So as you see, I do have that super banana chocolate hypo 50% het DG girl. So I didn't know, but like a super banana will not produce female makers for you. So any male that comes from a super banana will not produce a female maker. I'm pretty sure is what I heard as an offspring or whatever, because of where that male chromosome is that controls that sex link. So like you can't. So if I get a male or whatever, even though it came from a female or whatever, I'm not going to get female makers out of that super banana. I didn't know that.
Huh.
Right, that was pretty interesting. I thought.
Nice.
But I still possibly think my banana Mojave is a female maker that I got from the pet store. My very first one. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That would be crazy.
Those two bells.
Very doubtful, though.
I don't know. Those two bells that I got out of that clutch or whatever, man, I'm pretty sure they got banana in them because their eyes glow red.
Mm-hmm.
You take it behind their head or whatever, and they're both girls.
Okay.
So it was hard to tell because I didn't hit an actual banana in that clutch. So we'll see.
Yeah, it would have been nicer if you would have just hit a regular banana.
It would have been. Super bananas is either males that are male makers or female only, right? Super bananas can produce either or will. You can get male and females from a super banana. But the thing is, like if your super banana is a girl, your males that you produce off of that are not going to be female makers because of where that sex chromosome's at to make that super. So there's some.
Yeah, that stuff's confusing.
It's the banana gene, dude. It's just a sex link shit. It's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know who I saw that said that. I was like, I'm like, that's nice to know because I'm over here thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna produce all these female makers and stuff. Like, no, not happening. No.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a nice powerhouse girl though. So
Yeah.
she proves out het DG. Like, let's go. So she's going to go to the leopard DG hypo boy. I gotta prove out that hypo or that DG on her. The easiest way to do that is with a visual. So
right.
So that'd be the easiest way. It's like that's what I meant. You get both males. Yeah, that's what I meant. You get both males that are male makers only. Correct. Yeah, that's quite interesting. It's good knowledge to know. So,
Yep.
But now you guys know. So you guys learned something today. So I'll be having new stickers. I did order some new stickers and stuff coming. So I got the new 419 more stickers coming. So with the new logo and whatnot, because you guys know I did change my logo throughout the year. Way better logo, way more satisfied with it. So if you guys want some stickers, whatever, want a sticker package, throw me a message on Instagram when I get them. I can give you guys some sticker swaps too, real quick. So for sure.
Yep.
He's like about freaking time. Give me some stickers too, Paul. It's not a one-way street.
Yeah, you gotta send a sticker, damn it.
Paul. I got you, man. I got you. We cool. We got you. I got you.
Gotcha.
Even if you spend a certain amount of money or whatever too on snakes and stuff, I might hook you up with a free shirt too. Those things are expensive, man. Those things are not cheap. Any species besides ball pythons you work with? No, not me personally. I do have my very first snake was a corn snake though, and I still have it. That thing is probably like 13, 14 years old and probably sitting at probably about 6.5 foot. Probably shouldn't be that big as a corn snake, I don't think.
Yeah.
He's pretty big. You don't work with anything else, do you?
I got a couple pets, but I don't breed anything else. I got a curly haired tarantula that's right by me, and then I got a bearded dragon.
Right. Yeah. See, I only breed. That's how I am too. I only breed ball pythons. I got into that 2 years ago. So we'll see how this goes. Well, I'm enjoying it, man. I am. I think the rats are more a pain in the ass than anything for me because I breed my own rats, guys. So I think that's more of a pain in the ass for me than anything. The upkeep and keeping up with them is not fun, especially when half of them die off and then you got to turn around and go buy rats all the time. So that was a good time, I tell you what. So make sure you guys stay on top of your rats and don't use the clear water tubes. Not good.
Nope.
No, not good.
Black only, because the clear ones you'll get algae in them, and it will contaminate everything. It will contaminate your water lines, your spigots, and eventually your
half of them might die. Because I think that's what happened with me. I did that, switched it all out, cleaned it all out, good to go. So there's some food for thought.
Right.
So yeah, have you had any problems?
Have I had any problems? I got 2 snakes that are not freaking eating. That's what's pissing me off. Got 2 babies that I'm still assist feeding.
Do you? How?
Yeah.
You want to give any tips on assist feeding for anybody? Because I haven't done that yet.
Be patient. Be very patient. Yeah, and definitely have a pair of some tongs with you or something. You're not going to do it with your finger unless you got some really tiny fingers. But yeah, just grab them by the head.
It's not fun.
It is not fun. I had one on my very first clutch that did. Well, I had to be assist fed it once, and then it started eating on its own. These ones are like, this is the 3rd time I've assist fed them. They still won't eat on their own.
Right.
And of course, it's the cheapest ones out of all the babies I got.
Of course.
Sounds like.
And he accidentally did assist feed in time. 2 of them, I do believe.
Yeah, I know.
2 died, huh?
I did.
But that was a learning curve. I mean,
it was. I mean, my first ones, I had that one. Like I was saying, the first one that I had to assist feed, it made it to week 4 before I was like, okay, I'm going to assist feed this one now, finally, And then the other one, it didn't even make it to week 3. So,
but they were really small though, too, right?
They were, yeah, they were like 40, 50 grams or something. Lot smaller than their clutch mates for some reason. I don't know why. If it was incubation
was it a smaller egg or was it a normal size?
The egg looked like a normal size egg.
Really?
So yeah, it wasn't like anything noticeable. Just for some reason, the snake was a lot smaller. It absorbed all its yolk. I mean, I'm too new to know what that was all about.
I mean, I'm sure it just varies too. I mean, just like
I mean, of course, they're first time parents, so I mean, it was a first time mom, first time dad.
That's true. I mean, yeah. Do I do Norwegians or ASFs from Kaojun restrictors? I think is how you pronounce that. I do both actually, man. I do the ASFs when I get my babies started. I do and then it just kind of depends or whatever. And I try to switch them to rats as soon as I can. Normally, it's easier to get them to eat an ASF right off the rip than it is a rat. But I didn't have any problems with my first clutch at all. So, I mean, I was lucky there. Instead of he's had problems and stuff, and I have not yet. But I said I only had 1 clutch, and you had what, 3?
Yep.
Yeah, he had 3. But I'm expecting 5 to 6 clutches this year, hopefully. So we'll see what happens. What food y'all use on the rats? I used the Killenbosch as well. I was using the Mazur, but that went up so much in price and stuff. I wasn't having it. It kind of sucked. Yeah. I had to cut, like I said, it is still a business and stuff. So if I can cut expenses, I will cut expenses if I can. Saw another one too. What was another question? Maybe that's it. So I mean that takes care of that one. But yeah, I mean it's the hardest part to do it is figuring out when and how you can cut costs to help save your money. So that's why I breed my own rats. It costs me, like I said, probably around $120 every 3 weeks to breed my rats, plus my labor, which is nothing. And it saves me that much. Now, when I was sitting there buying rats, let's put this in perspective because I did have to turn around and go buy rats. Now, it's not going to be as much as Car's spending because, again, Car, how much are you paying for rats?
Too dang much.
$10.
Yeah, $10 a rat.
What's a rat? So I'm sitting there, probably around $2.50, $3 a rat, which is probably cost me around $300 for probably about like 100 and something rats, which Car's term over here, that's like around almost $2,000.
That's enough for a week.
Yeah.
That's enough just to feed my collection.
That's crazy. I sent him a picture. I was like, how do you know you're rich in Washington without telling me that you're rich in Washington? Sent a picture of all the rats. I mean, I think I had like 200 rats that day. And I was that was like $2 or $3 worth of rats. I mean, that's insane, dude.
Yep. Anything from a small to a jumbo is $10. And then once you get lower to like a pup and a pinky, you're looking at I think it's $650 for a pup or a pinky.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think $3 here is high. I mean, not so much because prices went up. Like you're probably around like $2.50. I was charging $2.50 a rat, but since everything went up, my food and my bedding and stuff, I had to bump it up to $3 for people that do want it. But I mean, it's still I couldn't imagine paying $10, man. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, it's because our minimum wage went up. So then they're like, oh, since we got to pay our employees more, we're going to raise the price of all our feeders. Because it used to be like $5. So I'm like, okay, it's a little high, but whatever, I'll pay that.
Right? It's not. I mean, it's still not terrible.
No, I mean $10 is terrible.
I mean, $10 is really bad. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
So you're paying like $400 or $300 to feed a snake collection of like 30, or I think you said you had 38.
Yeah, I'm sitting like 38 right now.
Yeah, that's I couldn't afford that, dude. I don't know how you do it. She make the same amount as I do. Shut up. You make a little bit more than I do.
I make it rain when I go to the pet store.
Yeah, you make it rain. They love you. Like, today.
Yeah, they see me come in. They're like, "How many do you want?"
Make $400 today.
So, yeah, I know, right? I keep their lights on.
Real quick, guys, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are doing the 500 subscriber giveaway as well. We're doing the Het Pieds pair as a giveaway, free shipping. You don't want to miss that. We will be doing that on the live podcast. Spin to win, baby. That's how we're doing it. So that'll be exciting when that hits. I think I'm at 330. Let me check here. I don't even know what I'm at 335, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I'm at 335.
Yeah. Everybody need to tell a friend.
Tell a friend so we can get this going. Tell a friend, get this raffle going. Subscribe, get on another computer. Just subscribe on that computer. Screw it. Don't matter. Yeah. So,
make up a bunch of fake accounts.
What was that?
Make up a bunch of fake accounts.
Yeah, just do what you gotta do. Let's get to 500. Yeah. No, I want it to be legit 500 though, for real. It's more legit. I want to be legit. Yeah, I want it to be a legit 500 for sure. So if anyone wants to be on this podcast, it isn't just for big breeders and stuff like that. I'm trying to get people out there. That was the point of starting this. So if anyone wants to join the podcast, wants to get in on this, do a little bit of an interview, get your name out there, shoot me a message on Instagram, guys. I will get you on this. I can probably do a couple breeders at a time. I think we've done it before. We had like 4 or 5 of us on here, just, having fun, talking snakes and stuff. So if anyone wants to get on this podcast or whatever, give me a shout out and we will make it happen. So that's another thing too, as well. That I love to get other people out there. You got the following and stuff, and you just got to support one another. So check that out.
Right up.
So shoot me a message. Let me know if you want in. I'm more happy to have you on. I don't care how many snakes you have. I don't care what you work with. Like, let's do it. We're just here to have a good time, guys. So I don't know what happened to Garrett. I think he forgot about us or something. So we're going to have to probably reschedule that one. He's online, but I don't know. I know he had company over and stuff as well, so that probably could have took up some of his time. So I might have to reschedule that one with him. But it's no big deal. He's a busy guy. He's original OG, so it is what it is. So I don't know what you're saying.
So with so many snakes. Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom right there, guys. Yep. I'm just kidding, man. See, I have how many do I have right now? I think I have, with the 3 babies I'm trying to sell, I think I have 36 right now. I think I'm sitting at, plus the one I have on hold right now. That's a top secret that I don't think I'm going to release that one at all.
I got 1 too on hold, but
yeah, you got 1 too on hold.
Y'all don't get to see it until she's here.
Yeah, Carl will release that one. What is it?
I will, because I'm nice. I'm not like Glenn. Yeah. Gotta have secrets and shit.
What was it again?
It's a snake. Yeah, it's a girl.
I tried to get you to do it. Like,
yeah, I know.
Like, gotcha.
I got. Just say it's a banger.
It is a banger. It's a girl.
You'll like it. Yeah, it's a girl. Don't worry.
I love teasing with Paul. Paul's so much fun to tease. Unbelievable. You guys are ridiculous.
We're ridiculous over here.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
You'll know. Just wait, Paul. Just wait.
Yeah.
We got big plans over here at 419. I don't know. We were talking about too, because Carr is going to be moving on the East Coast at some point and whatnot. So we were talking about maybe doing some split clutches with some DG Hypo, Wookiee stuff, maybe down the line and stuff like that. I do have that Acid Clown as well. So, I mean, maybe take the Wookiee boy to the Acid Clown or whatever, see what happens. I mean, we were talking about doing that. I mean, that'd be
Dude, chocolate and acid would go together really good, or Wookiee, whatever.
Really good because he has a chocolate. What was it? Chocolate Wookiee het clown boy.
Yeah.
Acid Clown girl that I just got. So I mean,
so everything would be either chocolate or Wookiee.
Yeah, it's gonna be either chocolate or Wookiee, no matter what, and everything's gonna be 100% het clown, no matter what. So it'd be kind of a fun clutch to maybe do down the road in a couple of years or so. So I don't know, we'll see. So there's a secret for you, Paul. There you go.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool. So there you go, Will. Carr, I give you a few names of breeders close to you who might help you out with rodents. There you go.
Send it my way, man. I'm down. Heck yeah. I've tried looking like on Facebook and stuff like that, and can't find anything consistent. Or if I call them, they're like, "Oh, I got like 5." I'm like, "Well, I got 30 freaking snakes." 40.
So does that mean it has hypo in it? With my secret.
I mean, that's a huge maybe.
That's a huge maybe. I mean,
it's a huge maybe.
Kind of a hypo DG breeder, I consider myself. I think we counted or whatever. Actually, I think out of 36 snakes I have, I think half of them are at least visual het or visual hypos, or now het hypos, or have DG or some kind of stupid combo in them like that.
I don't have no hypos.
Yeah, you don't got no hypos. Carr's more of the dark side of the spectrum, and I'm more on the light side of the spectrum. So, and we were talking about that too, because he's on a different spectrum than I am. He's on this side of the snake, I'm on this side, but still that high with genes. So it kind of makes it cool and stuff like that. So I can sit there and I can kind of tell him secrets and whatnot, and see what he thinks, and we go over our purchases together and stuff like, "Oh, you think this would work or whatever?" Like, you should probably wait or do this, whatever. So that makes it kind of cool. So
it is true.
It is true. Because if not, I'd probably be like, if I got there and got a Wookiee boy, you'd be like, "I ain't telling you nothing."
Yeah, we won't be friends. We won't even be friends, man.
He said, so with 5,000 ball pythons on the market, what would you say to steer a new breeder into a right direction? I ask because so many people are selling collections. Okay, that's a really good point. Now, I'm not trying to hurt no feelings here. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, okay? So as a new breeder or whatever, and this is what I did, you're not going to sit there, and in my personal opinion, okay, this is just my personal opinion. Carr, you can weigh in on this here once I'm done talking. My personal opinion, which I know that, Carr, I do know that you do have the same aspect as me, and I get 50,000. Okay, I get that. Paul, on a morph market range, okay, and where the market's going, you don't want to buy those pastel het clowns. Oh, there's Garrett. Let's go. We got Garrett in the building, guys. Let me finish this question here.
Go ahead.
What's up, man?
Hey.
How you doing?
Me? Oh, I'm fine.
Good. No, you're good. I'm just answering this question real quick. So he said, and maybe you can get in on this too a little bit as what you think. So I'll pop the question back up here. It says, so with 50,000 ball pythons on the market, what would you say to steer a new breeder into a right direction? I asked, so many people are selling collections. And I was going on this saying that, like, if you're going to be successful in this and whatnot, I'd probably go more higher end with stuff. I wouldn't go your simple genes or you're just pastel or your just single gene lessers and whatnot. Yeah. I don't think that's where the market's going. You're going to have a hard time unless you want to make pet quality stuff. Yeah. If you're looking to make it into a business where you don't have to sit there and sell your collection, go higher end.
Yep.
That's my business aspect of it, guys. Like I said, I invested I got 34, 35 of them, and a lot of them are higher dollar quality snakes, guys. And you want to keep your gene level high and your snakes kind of low. So that way you're not doing as much, upkeep and that. Is it worth selling? I was listening to Billy's podcast. Is it worth taking care of an animal, a $400 or $500 animal, for a couple of years, having to feed it, take care of it, your time, your effort, just to produce maybe a 2 gene animal? Probably not.
No, it definitely isn't. I mean, you want to go the highest end that you can afford.
Right.
But you also want to research the project a little. I mean, there's some high-end animals that probably aren't good investments, and there's others that are good investments. Some of it's kind of luck, but you definitely want to make sure that you. Like, I'm kind of all on board with having a smaller collection and going with the most expensive snakes that you can. Just because it's a lot of work. Like the size of my collection, I produce things in all levels. I mean, I've got the pet quality stuff. I don't purposely try to produce too much of that. Like albinos, I produce a lot of, but most of my stuff, I'm trying to do higher end stuff. But having like 650 breeder females, that's a lot of work. Like, I work really, really hard at this, and I honestly, I want to cut back a bit and concentrate on, like, this upcoming season. I'm going to be doing mostly my higher end projects, or new projects at least, and I'm not even going to worry about producing like normal pieds and albinos and things like that, because they're just I produced so many this past year that's going to take me a year. It's going to take me all through 2023 to sell out of everything from 2022, so I make more of them. Like, I'm just going to.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, I'm all about like producing a smaller quantity, like, and just focusing on the higher end stuff as much as I can anyway.
Right. How much in clutches did you have this year? How many clutches did you produce?
Okay, so,
or at least of last year, I guess.
In 2021, I produced 474 clutches, and I told myself, and I told lots of other people, I'm never doing that to myself again. That's to keep up with. Well, so this last year, I purposely didn't breed some of my females, or I didn't try very hard anyway. And I produced, I'm hoping I just got my final clutch of the year earlier this week. And that was 401 clutches. I was actually thinking that I was only going to do between 300 and 350 this year, but my female, a lot of them went, and it's hard because you don't know when, like, if I could predict a year in advance of what the market was going to be like and what people wanted to buy, it'd be a lot easier for me to know what to pair and know how many pairings to do. But you don't know. I mean, I didn't know 2022 was going to slow down a bit compared to 2020 and 2021. So I just didn't, I kind of overproduced. And like right now we have, like, every spot in my facility is full of babies. I mean, I'm feeding 1,500 babies a week right now. And
Whoa!
Selling. I mean, snakes are still selling, contrary to popular beliefs. I think a lot of people think the market is down, and I think it is compared to previous years. But I mean, they're selling. But man, I mean, with that many babies to sell, it's going to take me a long time. So I'm going to back on this upcoming season and just focus on like new males that I have. Like, I've got some new clown combo males. I'm going to try to, work on those with a bunch of females, and some of my like double recessive and triple recessive projects. I'm going to work on all that too, but I'm not really going to go out of my way to produce any of the lower end stuff, because I have so much of it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I had camera problem. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no problem.
I don't know what the heck happened. Paul, back to your question too, because he said right here, he's like, yeah, but you're a new breeder while having a name out there. I produce a sick combo, and Garrett produces the same. They're going to buy from him. See, another thing is, Paul, that is why I started doing my social media now, so people know who I am. Like, I bought off Garrick. I met him at the expo at Tinley and stuff like that. I go out there, even if it's just networking at Tinley. Tinley is so huge, and you can meet so many new breeders. Because like Will didn't even know. Like, me and Will went there and stuff like that, and we talked to so many people and stuff. And this is how you just get your name out there, man.
Yeah.
So I start the YouTube channel. So I start the podcast. So I do Instagram and stuff. So by then that you are producing the sick stuff or whatever, you're all right in this. Because it's easier to build that while you're, in the process of breeding and stuff like that, than say you produce a sick combo and now all of a sudden you want to, try to get your name out there. It's not going to work that way. I mean, it's not going to be good.
Morph Market levels the playing field a little bit too. Like my snakes are right alongside everybody else's, so I have to compete with pricing on all that. And I've also, somebody could just as easily pick from somebody else. And there's nothing wrong with buying from smaller breeders. I mean, man, if you have a small collection, you're able to focus on them so much better and make sure that the quality is the absolute best. And so there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But I mean, like with me, I've got a pretty good website, and that gives, I think like having that gives me some legitimacy that maybe other breeders that just sell on Morph Market don't have. Like it's kind of like I think maybe people think they're a little bit less likely to get scammed if somebody actually has a professional website in addition to Morph Market. Like I know a lot of people that just sell just on Morph Market or at shows or whatever, but they don't have a website that they're doing.
Right.
So, I think that gives me a little bit of an advantage. I get a lot of traffic just organically into my website and not even through Morph Market, even though I do get a lot of inquiries through Morph Market too. But, it's just, I think it definitely helps to have an actual website. And the purchase process is really easy. Like if someone's just going to buy something, they're going to pay full price. They're not going to haggle or, do payment plans or anything like that. Just go onto my website, click buy now, and it's a really quick and easy process. And, then the order is done and I can ship the snakes right to them. So that definitely helps with some of the stuff.
Do you see more inquiries through your website than you do Morph Market now?
I would say actually probably more through Morph Market than the website, but it's fairly close. I mean, I would say overall probably more through Morph Market. I mean, Morph Market's really changed everything with ball python. I'm happy for it, even though it makes it a little bit harder for me because I do have to compete with everybody else. Like if I'm selling like, a coral glow pipe and there's 150 of them up there and mine, I've got 6 of them on there. The chances of me selling the 6 aren't as good because there's just so many to choose from at all different price levels. So that definitely makes it a little bit more challenging. Where before Morph Market came, if people just did a search ball pythons for sale, I'd come up like pretty close to the top, and people would just go to my site. And like I think my online sales were actually easier before Morph Market came, but I do think that more people see my animals that are for sale because of Morph Market. Like people, I mean, uses Morph Market. I mean, everybody. I can't even imagine like some of the other older sites that people can sell on, like King Snake or Fauna Classifieds, things like that. I was just actually kind of wondering that a couple of days ago. Like, I wonder how many people are actually still using those sites. I mean, everybody's it's Morph Market.
Right. Yeah, everyone's on Morph Market now. Like when I got introduced to it, the breeding stuff, I was like, my one buddy, Eric, or whatever, he was like, you heard about bringing snakes and stuff? I'm like, who'd pay this much for a snake? I started doing my research. I'm like, dude, like, yes. I'm like, I like it. But do you think that here's a question though. Do you think calling should be implemented to lessen the payload on the market with so many normals, pastos, and 50% heads? I mean, in a sense of people sitting on snakes for 1 year.
I'm gonna be an old man right now. I got to get my readers on.
Oh, you're good.
My eyes suck right now.
No, you're good. So I'll let you do that. My personal opinion is no, because you know what you're producing and you have to freaking take that chance. It's still an animal. That's part of breeding and whatnot. That's where you can just maybe offload to a pet store, do a wholesale sale. But you shouldn't have to, call a healthy animal. I'm not a fan.
No, of that. I absolutely refuse to do that. I'm all about every healthy animal deserve, and even the ones that don't come out perfect, the ones that are, occasionally you'll just hatch ones that don't have eyes or something.
Right.
Try to find ones for those too. I'm all about every life is valuable.
Yes.
And I will never put a healthy animal in the freezer or anything like that. Never.
Never.
I was actually just at Petco today just to pick up some supplies. I needed a couple basking lights for a ridgetail monitor that I have, and I needed a couple other things. And I saw a normal ball python in the store, and it was $100.
Right.
Like there are like there's for all of us in the industry, we get so involved in the industry and we always think, well, high end. But I mean, there are so many introductory people that have never had a ball python that will still buy those low end animals. Now, if you're producing them and you don't have a good outlet for them, then it can be a problem. I mean, if you just you're producing more snakes than you know what to do with. But
Right.
if you do some work and find people to buy those lower end snakes, let them deal with moving the animals and selling them to
Right.
a new pet owner or something. Like most people that are getting their first ball python are going to spend $100 or $200. They're not going to buy a $5,000.
Right. Or they're going to spend maybe like a $400 one at most, $500 at most, whatever. Like
500 is kind of the cutoff for pets.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of cut off. Yeah, for like the pets and stuff like that. I agree.
Yeah.
That was like I was telling Carr, like I said, we got the expo here. It's over by Toledo and stuff, and that's just one of the expos that are just like you're going to sell a pet. You know what I mean? Like you're something that's kind of lower end or whatever. Like you want to go sell for $150, $200, whatever. Like that's the place to go do it.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of hard to make it worthwhile to ship a $200 animal when you got to pay $100 shipping. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, shipping is so expensive now. Like I have a flat rate of $60 shipping on my website. In summertime, that's probably close to what it is. Maybe sometimes it's actually a little bit more. But once you figure in the box costs and everything, it's
Right.
all right. But this time of year, I have to use a bigger box because I'm in Wisconsin. I mean, we have brutal. Like I'm going to be shipping 31 boxes out on Monday. Our high is going to be 30 and our low is going to be 14. So I need to use a bigger box because if you put multiple heat packs into like a 12 by 9 by 6 box, you're going to cook it before it even gets out of the shop.
Right.
I use a 15 by 11 by 7 box. I actually use 3 heat packs in that box. And most people are thinking, with 3 heat packs, we're going to fry the snakes. I've shipped thousands of shipments like I do, and it works really well. But it's very expensive. Like that box, depending on where it's going to, like if I'm shipping to Washington State or California or something, that box is going to cost me $85 to ship, and I only charge the customer $60. And the box is probably $8, $9 or something.
Plus your heat packs and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's probably around $100 it's costing you to ship that animal. You're only charging $60.
So if you're selling, like we had our Black Friday sale last week, and from Thanksgiving night on, and we did 40% off. So when somebody buys like an albino ball python and they're paying $120 for that, because I normally charge $200, they pay $120 for it, and I charge them $60 for shipping, so they have $180 for that albino, and it actually cost me $100 to ship it. I sold that snake for $80, and that's not really profit. I mean, it's not profitable at all.
No.
It probably cost me that much.
That's not even including your personal time with your food and stuff that you put into that animal and whatnot. So at the end of the day, you're probably
the customer interaction. I mean, I got a shipping label. I got to email them back and forth a couple times with shipping information and tracking numbers and everything, and that all adds up. And I mean, I don't know what the exact cost is that it takes to produce a ball python for me. But, I have a facility that I have to heat and give electricity to. I have an employee. I mean, it's a lot of other expense that goes into producing a ball python that I have that the people that are doing it like out of their house don't have. It's incredibly expensive. Like, I mean, just the amount of money we have to take in every month just to pay the bills is pretty incredible.
I bet. What's your bill cost, if you don't mind me asking? Like how many facilities do you run?
I have 2.
You have 2? How many snakes are you working with right now?
I would say right now I probably have close to 3,000. I have roughly like probably 650 breeder females, probably I bet 300 breeder males or close to it. And then, all the babies and all the holdbacks. I mean, I hold back roughly probably like 100 this year I think I only held back like 130 babies or something like that for future breeders.
Right.
But then you still have, probably close to 200 from 2021. And so, when you add all that in together, it varies. I mean, in the summertime during the peak of hatching season, that's when I'm going to have the most snakes in my facility. But Yeah, and right now I'm still pretty full. I mean, it's so weird. I still have clutches incubating yet. I probably have between clutches that just hatched and clutches that are going to hatch yet. I probably have like 30 clutches. So and normally at this time of year, I only have maybe 5 or 6 clutches in the incubator. So I've got a lot.
Yeah, you got a lot.
So I'm really full. I mean, and I feed every single snake myself. I have my employee waters and cleans all of the snakes at my main facility. Then I have a second smaller place that's only about the size of like a 2-car garage.
Okay.
And I did that one so that I could basically a form of insurance for myself. If I would have a fire or a tornado or something like that would happen to hit my big facility, I could restart everything from my smaller.
That's smart. I see what you're saying. I see what you're getting. That's smart.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was important to do that. I probably did this about 10 years ago. It was just we for like a year or two we actually paid for insurance on our animals, and that was so expensive. I'm like, hell, I can just I can put together another facility for what it's costing me in insurance, and that'll be the best form of insurance because knock on wood, hopefully it never anything I need to rely on, but it's really nice to be able to just in case.
That's a good. I like that thought. I'm going to implement that when I get bigger and stuff. That's a good idea. I like that. I never even thought about that. Have like a backup, space or whatever. So if something were to happen to the main one or whatever, you can kind of start over and not have to start over. So yeah, that's a good idea. So
although if I ever had to start over, I would never get nearly as big as I am right now. Like it's just too much, I mean, I'm 50 years old. I don't want to work 60 hours a week. I have I'm sure I have over 60 hours in this week already. And I guess the week is over technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bet I put in 60 hours this week. I mean, I didn't finish all my watering and cleaning yesterday, so I was at the shop earlier today doing some watering and cleaning. And I do a lot of it myself too, because I'm a firm believer of quality control. I'm also kind of a control freak when it comes to my animals. So I try to do as much of the work as I possibly can. I do all of the pairings. I do all of the feeding. I water and clean probably 700 to 750 snakes a week. I do all of the emails, phone calls, shipping. I do all that myself. And that probably limits me to some extent of how big I could get. But
right.
I just don't want to get to the point where I'm just a manager,
right.
I've had 3 employees in the past, and it just got to be like where all I was doing is basically customer service, and I wasn't even interacting much with the animals that I love. And so
that's what makes it fun. I don't mind cleaning out snake tubs. I can sit there like, oh yeah, I got this. Like, hell yeah. It's the rats I don't like.
Oh, I know. They suck.
They suck, man.
We produce some of our own rodents. I'm very lucky to have Kyle Hoffman from Royal Ambassador Reptiles, which would be somebody that you should probably have on at some point. He is only about, he's less than an hour away from me. And he actually has a fairly good sized rodent colony.
Yeah, so he was talking. I was talking to him. I talked to him last year at Tinley. I've talked to him here and there a little bit. Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
Sure. I know Kyle pretty good.
I've known Kyle since he was like 18 years old. He used to come to my old shop all the time, and his collection is amazing.
Yeah, he has some stuff too.
When he starts talking to me about all of his combos and stuff like that, my eyes just glaze over. I'm like, seriously, I can't keep up. I mean, he's got as good a stuff as anybody in the world. It's amazing the stuff that he's talking about that he has. So anyway, I get all my rodents. I get all the rodents that I buy. I get from him. I do order some frozen from time to time too, but all of the live stuff that I actually get from him. He drives them over to me every Tuesday morning, and delivers like roughly 1,000 rodents for me every Tuesday.
How long does it take you to feed them? He said, you do it yourself and whatnot. So how long does it actually take you to sit there and feed them?
I have everything so to keep up with everything that I have to do. I'm very scheduled. Like I feed and water and clean all my holdbacks, which is probably roughly like 300 350 animals every Monday. And then on Tuesday, I feed all of my adults at both locations. And then on Wednesday, I feed all of the hatchlings that are for sale. So I break it up between 3 different days. So the first half of my week is all about feeding, and the second half of the week is all about watering and cleaning and all that kind of stuff. So, it takes a long time. I mean, all the babies right now, I've got like probably 15 freedom breeder racks that hold 80 babies a piece that are full. I've got 6 animal plastics racks that hold about 40 babies a piece that are full. That'll take, if I have to do it all in one day, it's about an 8-hour day to feed all that stuff.
Dang. I mean, it's fun though. I mean, it is. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
I actually I don't really enjoy the feeding. I like the watering and cleaning. I like
right.
leave a room when everything is all watered and clean, and I just know it's as clean as it'll get. There's no poop in the tubs or anything like that. It's nice and clean. That's a good feeling. Like, normally by the end of the day, Friday, like by 4:30, 5 o'clock on Friday, I'm closing the doors on the shop, and I'm like, oh, it's all done, and I can just relax for the weekend. I don't have to worry about anything. I know it's all everything's in good shape. But I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyway, that's watering and cleaning is my favorite part, because then I can really look at the snakes and assess the snakes, and I can think about like pairings. Like, I'm just starting to now think about what pairings I want to do for 2023. So, and I come up like, the problem is I don't like some of my higher end females. I want to pair them with so many different males. It's like I have to choose one. Like, I got to breed a pied. What am I going to breed this to? And this year I'll breed it to a toffee pied. Next year I'll breed it to a hypo ultramel pied or whatever, just to get all these different combos going. But it's hard. It's a hard decision sometimes. You only have like 1 or 2 of a specific the female, and you gotta really think really hard about what you want to pair her to. So but that's kind of what I'm going through right now. Like, I'm just starting to kind of formulate my plans for next year, marking females for specific males and stuff. And like I had said before, I'm not going to be doing quite as much. I'm not going to produce as many clutches. At least I sure hope I don't produce as many clutches. Yeah, I'm the only person in the world that gets pissed when I produce too many ball pythons. Like,
I mean, you produced a lot last year, man. I remember you had that video and stuff, and I was always looking at it and stuff. You're like, I'm going down a little bit. I'm going higher end. Like, I would too, man.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah. So like, I'll concentrate on like the double and triple recessive stuff this upcoming season. And then some new, like, I've got a pastel stranger clown that's had hypo. I'll run him through some hypo clown stuff and try to capitalize on that investment. And I've got some really nice males that are just coming into breeding size and age now, but those will be like my focal points for 2023. I'm not going to breed some of my more common pairings because I already have so much of that stuff right now.
This is a good question too. I was wondering the same thing actually. It goes, having so many snakes, do you go out and still buy snakes?
Oh, of course, you have to.
Yeah.
I don't buy many. Not probably 95% of every snake in my collection was produced by me. I have most of the genes that I want, but there's always new genes to get, and so I'm trying to research and figure out what genes do I want to add to my collection. Right. So I probably buy, I would say, anywhere from 4 to 6 snakes a year. Like this year, I can only think of 2 that I bought. I bought an acid clown male because I didn't have. Well, I have a normal confusion, but I'm like, I don't, and that snake didn't eat for me for like 6 months. So I'm like, do I really want to breed the confusion to a clown, hope that I hit on a male confusion hat clown, and then go through a year or more to grow that up just to breed it to my to a clown female and hope that I hit on confusion clowns? Or do I just want to buy an acid clown? Acid and confusion are the same thing. Right. Or do I just want to just spend the money and just buy an acid clown and then
yourself that time?
And I mean, I'm all about saving myself a few steps. And same thing with the other snake that I bought this year was a Desert Ghost Pied.
I did see that one. I remember you bought. I remember that video and stuff that you did.
Yeah, yep. And that snake is doing awesome. I think I'll get him to breed this upcoming season. 2 years ago, I produced some really nice double hats. I got like a Lemon Blast and Super Blast, and I think Mojave and Pastavi and Pinstripe double hat. DG pied. So I'm like, do I really want to do I really want to do double het to double het, or should I just buy a DG pied and breed that to those females? It'll increase the numbers of my DG pieds that I produce so dramatically that if I sell 2 of them, I'll easily pay for the male that I bought. So, and luckily he's an awesome eater. I mean, I got him in, I'm thinking it was actually at NARBC in Schaumburg. I bought it from Jason Kittinger.
That's where I got my girl from. I got an Aztec clown from him too. I got one too.
Okay.
Mine's a female though. I got a female. So, but yeah, you got no. But yeah, I got my acid clown from him too as well. So he has that really nice line of acid.
They're really really nice stuff. So yeah, anyway, I bought them from that snake is maybe 100 grams when I got it, probably not even. And I've been feeding him about probably on the average of twice a week. But he's pretty good size now. I think he'll be ready to go probably sometime in January or maybe early February. And I've got all these females that are just coming up to breeding size now, waiting for them. So
there you go.
Even if I produce 2 more DG pieds because I use the DG pied male versus a double het, it definitely will be worth it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know you still working that carnivore, Gene?
Yeah, yep. I've got carnivore. I actually produced a lot of bait, not a lot, but I produced probably 5 clutches of them this year.
Did you?
I've got them all here. I'm just not that morph is kind of confusing to me. Some of the carnivore clowns that I produced this year basically look like leopard clowns. Some of them are different. So when I look at my carnivore het clown breeder male, he looks different than a leopard het clown. The colors are so much brighter, pattern just a little sharper. It doesn't quite look like the same thing. But then when I'm hatching, these carnivore clown babies, and I have some, carnivore het clowns too, a lot of them look so similar to leopard. I'm really confused, and I'm actually not selling any yet because I want to make sure that I know what I'm selling to people.
Right.
So, and I don't think it's just a leopard, because there was some controversy about the carnivore gene, like, oh, it's just a leopard. But I don't think it is. But I'm actually going to get it genetically tested, the sheds, to make sure that carnivore is not the same as leopard.
Okay.
So because I would hate to sell somebody like a $7,500 snake and then later find out, oh, it's just a $700 snake.
Right.
I won't do that. So
right.
I'd say I have probably 15 or 16 carnivore clowns sitting here right now, and then I also have probably 8 or 9 hats, and they're just going to sit here for now until I can get it all figured out, and then I'll start selling them.
Should do a video on it.
Yeah. I've been waiting because I
was waiting for you to do updates on that carnivore. I knew you had it. I remember when you picked it up and stuff. I haven't heard nothing about it or anything. I haven't heard nothing about carnivore lately besides what Barry's been doing with it and stuff like that. So I was just like, I knew you had it, as I was wondering about it and stuff like that. Like, I figure he's breeding it by now.
Oh yeah. I mean that snake, when I got it from Barry last year, it was already pretty good size. And that thing put on size and weight really quickly. And I mean, he's at least 1,000 grams. I would say he's good size. And he every single female I bred to him produced a nice clutch for me. So, but yeah, I'll do a video on it at some point. But I just kind of want to know a little bit more about what I've actually, what I actually have there. Before I do it. So I'm going to get some genetic testing done. For no other reason, I just want to prove that carnivore is not the same thing as leopard.
For sure.
Right. Makes sense.
You have any questions for him, Carr?
Yeah. When did you start breeding ball pythons?
Well, I bought my first ball python in, I think it was 1992 or 93. I think it was 93, actually. I didn't start breeding them until 2000.
Okay.
I bred a het albino male because that's all I could afford back then. That was $1,000 animal back in 2000 or 99, I think is when I bought it. I bred a het albino male to 2 normal females, or at least I only got 2 clutches, and I hatched 10 babies that first year. And then I'm always holding stuff back, and 10 and grew to, I think the next year I produced like 27. The next year was 40 something. And then it just grew exponentially from there.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you how you got so big and stuff. Like if that was your attempt.
It was just hoarding. I kept everything that I could afford to keep. I probably didn't make a profit on my ball pythons until probably 10 years in. I kept everything back that I could. But back then I was more interested in producing quantity. It was quality too, of course, but I wanted more and more and more. And I just started holding back. So we have a dinner party.
I know. You told me about
distracting me. So anyway, I held back so much stuff and just tried to get my collection bigger and bigger. Where now I'm actually in more of the mode of shrinking it down and fine tuning it a little bit more.
Right.
So I'm trying to work with males and females that'll give me more consistent results. Like instead of breeding like a dreamsicle to a double het dreamsicle, which that can work out fantastically. I mean, I've had clutches where I've had like 6 dreamsicles and
it just did before you're doing it.
Well, that was that was a double het female. Yeah,
that was a double het female. You hit it. You killed it.
Yeah, that was, and I just have the knack with dreamsicles for some reason. I had a lavender and I had a pied. This is probably going back like 7 or 8 years now. I had a lavender and a pied and I brought them together and I got 4.1 double hets. Like that's just the worst. It's almost the worst odds ever. It would have been a lot better with 1.4 because when you're breeding double het to double het, you need as many females as you can.
Right.
So I had 4.1 double hets. And I kept one female and I kept one male, sold the other males, and I raised those up. And I think the second year trying to pair them together, they finally bred. And I got 1 pied and like 5 normals in the clutch.
Oh.
So I kept all the normals because they were all possible double het. And actually most of those proved out for me eventually. But then the next year I bred them and I got 2.1 dreamsicles in the clutch. And I kept all 3 of them. So I'm like, well, who wouldn't want a female dreamsicle in their collection? And I want to keep both males because what if one male is a crappy feeder or doesn't breed or doesn't grow very well? So I kept all 3 of them.
Yep.
Well, both males ended up being fantastic breeders. The female actually just laid, she's probably 6 years old now, I think. She just laid her first clutch for me about 6 weeks ago or something like that.
Dang.
So, she was stubborn. She's a big girl, but she just was stubborn, didn't want to produce. I bred her year after year and didn't do anything. But anyway, so yeah, now like I'm producing lots of dreamsicles, but I don't so I was breeding dreamsicle to double het, and the odds of that is 1 in 4 to hit on a dreamsicle, and a lot of times I'll produce a lot better odds than that, but it's still not a guarantee. I'm just getting lucky. So I've held back a lot of dreamsicle females over the past few years, and now I think I have 10 or 11 female dreamsicle breeders or females that will be breeding this upcoming season. So if I want to do something as simple as like dreamsicle to dreamsicle, like I'd rather do that because one pairing like that will produce as many dreamsicles as several pairings, 4 pairings from double hets. So I'm trying to do things more efficiently now and just not produce so much byproduct. Because, as we were talking about earlier, byproducts are sometimes kind of hard to move. So
they are.
I just want to produce, like I'd rather produce 800 snakes that are all like good sellable animals, something that I actually wanted to produce, than to produce 2,000 snakes where 600 or 700 of them are byproducts that are just minimal value.
Right.
Yeah.
What are your I was gonna ask you, what's your your strategy for your holdbacks and stuff? Like what makes you have to like decide that you're gonna hold that one back?
A lot of times I'm a sucker for if I ever produce anything new that I haven't produced before, I tend to hold it back. I used to do that anyway all the time. Now I'm not quite as much. I'm actually looking at the genetics that are involved and thinking like, well, can I replicate that easily enough? Or is that really like a combo that I'm going to need for a future pairing? So I'm trying my best to be more selective now.
Right.
Over the past 10 years, I probably average holding back close to 200 snakes a year. And now, like this year, I think I probably held back somewhere like around 130, 140 snakes maybe, which is still a lot, but it's not quite as bad as what I was.
Right.
And I'll probably go through that and move some of those into the for sale category instead of holdbacks. But my opinion is I'd rather hold something back rather than sell it too quickly and then realize I should have held it back. So I always, like, when in doubt, I hold back, and then I can always sell it later. Like I'm sure out of my 130 or 140 babies that I held back from 2022, I'm sure that there's at least 10 or 15 that I'll probably eventually sell. And I even looked at my 2021 holdbacks, and I actually picked out probably like 8 or 9 of them that I really don't need. So yeah, but the strategy is basically depending on where I want my collection to go. And so like if I want to focus on, producing more ultramel pied stuff or desert ghost pied or desert ghost clown or whatever, I'll kind of try to hold back a lot of that stuff. But I try to hold back a little bit of everything. I have my hands in so many different projects, and I kind of want to say that way. Like I would never get so narrow where I'm only producing one. Like I never want to produce only clowns or only pies or anything.
Right.
I'm trying to have my hands in a lot of different pots, basically.
Is there any genes that you want to get out of that you have?
Genes that I want to get, not really. I think there's a point to having every gene that you can. There's stuff that I want to reduce in my collection a bit. And right. So when I decide to sell a breeder, if it's got some genes in it that I think I have too much of, or that I'm not that psyched about working on anymore, I'll maybe sell some of those. But I think I see value in every gene. There's potential anyway with every gene out there. So I'm always gonna have some of it in my collection. But yeah, no, like I got out of caramel probably, I don't know when I had my last one, probably 8 to 10 years ago. I just decided that with the kinking issues with the caramel, I just didn't want to produce snakes that are gonna, have a likeliness to come out with physical issues. So, that's probably the last gene that I actively worked out of my collection. And I just did all my caramel projects. I produced caramel clowns years and years ago. I think I was either first or second person in the world to produce caramel spiders back when, when spider was a pretty thing. And looking back on it, it's like, well, that's 2 genes that nobody really wants anymore. But
no, there's some people that are, Will likes it. I know Will. He loves that stuff. I know Will loves spider. I love my spiders.
I'm with spiders. I really hate the way spider has gotten in the ball python public's eye. With it's just like, oh, you can't have spider in your collection. How can you breed spiders? I've had spider. I bought my first spider from Kevin McCurley in 2003. And I've had so little problems with any of my spiders. Of course you have a couple every now and then that come out with pretty severe head wobble, but most of them are minimal, or at least not a bad amount of head wobble, and they're fine. But everybody's so against them that I've actually cut back drastically the amount of spiders that I'm producing, just because I know that a snake that has spider in it is going to be harder to sell than if that same snake didn't have spider in it.
Right.
So at this point, I'm just like, you know what? If I can sell an animal a lot quicker because it doesn't have spider in it, then why put spider in it? Even though I think some of the spider combos, like a good spider calico combo of some type, is just an awesome looking snake. And
it is kind of cool. I do like what it does. It's the same
thing
with
high whites on the side.
Yeah, it's the same thing with pastel and stuff that you're seeing now too. I've seen a lot of people don't want pastel.
I love pastel.
Yeah, you got a lot of pastel clowns right
Lots of it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, I like pastel. Well, pastel has its place in clowns.
It does.
It's not in some combos. It's a negative instead of a positive. But in some combos, it does definitely help. Like pastel desert ghost clowns are awesome looking.
Yeah.
Pastel calico yellow belly clowns are awesome. But the general, like a lot of people don't want pastel in their clowns. And I think a lot of the pastel clown combos that I'm trying to sell right now would sell better if they didn't have pastel in them, just because a lot of people have been trained to say, oh, can't have pastel in your clowns. So people just kind of follow that, and then they don't buy something just because it has pastel.
Right.
And like sometimes it's not good to have pastel in it. So, but I'm trying to kind of cut back on the amount of pastel. Like a lot of my pairings this year with clown are not going to have pastel in it. I've got so much with pastel in it for sale right now that I figure, well, I really don't need to go out of my way to produce more pastel clowns this year. So yeah, a lot of my, like I actually, I've got some Lemon Blast clown breeder females, and I decided, well, okay, I'm going to move away from those, and I'm going to replace them with pinstripe clown breeder females, because then you don't get pastel.
Yeah, I like the pinstripe in clown.
I do too.
You do anything with the bongo clown still?
Oh yeah. I've got a.
You got me on that.
I produced a super bongo clown a few weeks ago.
I did see that. That thing was insane.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool snake. I'm trying to, I like bongo in clown. I think there's a lot of potential with it. So I'm working that project. I've got a couple new males that'll be breeding this upcoming season. You know, and that's another one where when I first produced my first bongo clowns, they had pastel in them. So I had to use a pastel bongo clown as my primary breeder male, and so I produced so many pastel bongo clowns, and those have been a little bit difficult to sell compared to like a normal bongo clown or another combo bongo in it. So now I've got like a lesser bongo clown male that I'll be breeding. I don't know if I'll use him this upcoming season, but I've got just a normal bongo clown male that I'll be breeding to a bunch of different stuff too. And I really like bongo and clown. I mean, it's cool because it changes the color and it changes the pattern, and that's the best. That to me, that's the best combination.
I love it.
If you have a gene that'll change both color and pattern, then it just opens the door to so many different new looks of ball pythons.
Yeah, especially because you get that circle chaining reaction on the bongo and stuff like that in the clowns. It's so cool. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So, I was gonna ask you something else too. You have anything else for him, Car?
Do you keep anything other than ball pythons?
Sure. Yeah. Actually, right downstairs in my basement, I've got a display tank with brown anoles in it. Believe it or not.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah. You know, I when I was a kid, I love lizards, and my first reptile pets were green anoles that my dad bought for me when I was like 6 years old, and I just, you know, I just have some down there, and they breed in the tank, and I hatch babies out. Like I brought 3 back from, I think three or four back from Florida last year, and they started breeding right away, and I'll start hatching out babies, and I'm trying to feed them fruit flies and stuff to keep them alive. And they grew up, and yeah, I've got like 5 of them in a big 70-gallon tank downstairs. I also I've got a ridgetail monitor who's just a pet, basically. I bought him from Rare Earth at Tinley, probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. And she grew really nice and big, and she's doing great. Actually, in my office here, I've got a blue tongue skink. And that's just something I bought. His name is Mushu. And I bought him from a friend of mine at Tinley a few years ago. And he's been awesome. He's cool. And I have green tree pythons as well. I breed those. I'm not a great green tree python breeder, but I do produce at least 1 clutch a year.
That's cool.
And I'm going to try to focus on them, like especially this year. If I really cut back on my ball python production, I'm going to try to get more of my green trees to breed. I've got 9 breeder female or breeder size female green trees, and I hatched all of them out myself over the years, and I just held them back. And then I have a few geckos. I mean, I used to be like, if you would have known me, 15, 20 years ago, I was a gecko and lizard breeder. I have crestagecko.com was my original website. I've been producing crested geckos and leopard geckos and things like that for decades. And I still have some, but about 10 years ago, I made the decision to cut back drastically on my geckos, because I couldn't handle producing 4,000 geckos a year and 2,000 ball pythons a year, because every sale goes directly through me. Like I'm the only person that contacts customers, and to sell that many animals it's impossible for one person to do. So, but the problem is I can't just hire somebody else to do that, because people want to talk to me first of all, but they also, they want all the knowledge that's in my head. I can't find anybody that's got all the knowledge and experience.
Right.
So I'm kind of the bottleneck of the whole operation. Like I just can't, I can only handle so many different customer interactions a year. And with as ball pythons became more of a focus of mine, I just couldn't deal with all the other species. So I cut back on my crested geckos and leopard geckos, and I got out of African fat tails, I used to breed bearded dragons and veiled chameleons. I mean, at one point I was producing probably 800 veiled chameleons, 1,000 bearded dragons, and between crested geckos and leopard geckos, probably 4,000 geckos a year.
Dang.
That's a lot.
I had African fat tails. I've had hognose snakes, corn snakes, king snakes, milk snakes, carpet pythons, blood pythons, rainbow boas, red tail boas. I've had everything. I've really dabbled in a lot of different projects, and but ball pythons, once all the different genes that were coming out 15, 20 years ago, it just kind of overtook my mindset. And I just I was so focused on, and part of it was financial,
right.
Pythons have always been worth more than any of those other species, but a lot of it was just, I was so interested in just producing all these different genetics and different combos, and what would happen if I bred this combo to this combo? What would those babies look like? And that just really took over my mindset for my business. And so then I decided, why am I working with all these other species? I can't focus on those enough to be successful with them. Why not just cut them out and just focus on what I really am most interested in? And that was ball pythons.
For sure. Are you into puzzle, jaguar, zebras out there?
No, I don't have either of those in my collection. I like puzzle, and I see the popularity of puzzle growing a lot, and I'm probably missing the boat by not having it in my collection. Puzzle is a little cryptic looking though, and to me, I do a lot of kryptons, and I have cryptics as well. It kind of comes down for me that I only have so much rack space. I only have so much time. I just don't know if I want to add it into my collection, although I like it, and I'm probably going to be kicking myself in 4 or 5 years from not focusing on it and getting it in my collection. That's what I did with Desert Ghost. For some reason, 8, 9, 10 years ago when Desert Ghost first came around, I didn't see the value in it. I'm like, well, I can make basically the same thing, something that looks really similar to a Desert Ghost, by making an Orange Dream Fire, because kind of along the same color palette. And for some reason, I didn't appreciate. I'm like, well, Orange Dream Fire, because I got into Orange Dream. I bought my first one. I bought an Orange Dream Fire male from Ozzy back in 2011, I think. And I'm like, well, I can make stuff that looks very similar to Desert Ghost with this combo. Why do I need to get another recessive in my collection? So I completely screwed up on that. I should have gotten into Desert Ghost right away and hit it hard. And, but that's another thing. You got to be clairvoyant to be able to know what the market's going to do and how things are going to change over the years. And that's the one gene above all others that I kick myself for not taking more seriously when it first came out. I should have been working that project really hard and getting it into Pied and Clown and all that stuff.
I see how much it's worth and stuff like that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I produce so few Desert Ghosts every year now.
A DG clown, a DG clown right now is going for $10,000 all day.
Yeah, and I hatched a pastel DG clown male last year, and he hatched later last year, and he was really hard to get feeding. I actually had to assist feed him for probably the first 3 months that he was around. And then he one day I opened up his drawer and he looked at me like, yeah, I'm hungry. Throw something in here. And I fed him, and he's been awesome ever since then. So my pastel DG clown is just about ready to breed. I have a Krypton Het DG clown who's actually his mother. I've got a Lemon Blast DG clown female that'll be breeding this upcoming season, and a regular DG clown female will be, or actually pastel DG clown female that'll be or DG het clown that'll be breeding this upcoming season. And I've got several more females when growing up. So all of my Desert Ghost stuff is gonna all have another recessive in with it, either pied or clown or hypo. So yeah, kind of work that. It's the same thing with a lot of my Ultramel stuff too. Like most of my Ultramel project animals that I'm producing are either Ultramel pied or Ultramel clown. So I do have some regular Ultramels too, but kind of using those as like a part of another bigger project, like pied and clown.
Are you gonna plan on getting into zebra anytime?
Maybe. I don't have it yet, but I'm always open to it. I think I need to learn a little bit more about that project. I've seen it, and I've seen plenty of examples of them, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. I actually don't have Monsoon in my collection yet either, and even Sunset, I don't have any visual sunsets in my collection yet. Gotcha. So those are all projects that I'm intending on getting into, but I haven't pulled the trigger on any of it yet.
I got my zebra girl will be ready next year.
Nice. That's awesome.
We'll see. I didn't get elite. I didn't get the pastel zebra. I don't like pastel in it. I seen an adult pastel zebra. I don't like them. Okay. I got plain single gene zebra because I got plans.
But that's kind of is it a pattern and a color?
Yes.
Mutation? Okay.
Yeah, she's in shed.
They get nicer as they get older, a little brighter.
Okay.
She looks really ugly right now. She's in shed. They actually get the high flames coming up on them. You get more of like a puzzle, like I don't know. It's kind of weird to say, like you get like an over banding look on them and stuff, with a really
kind of inchy-ish, right?
Yeah, yeah. Really dark blacks on them, and then every shed they get better and better. So like, if I were to show you a picture of her when I first got her to now she gets done shedding, like she's amazing. They just get brighter and brighter.
You should send me a picture. I would love to see that.
I'll send you a picture of when she was a baby and when she sheds and stuff like that. I'll send you a picture after she gets done shedding, and you can see what she looks like and stuff. She looks really good after she gets done. I show Carr every single time. He's like, man, she looks dope.
You said you have a female?
Yeah, she's a female.
Yeah, it's female.
What are you gonna breed her to?
Oh, come on, man.
Top secret?
Secret.
You're done said it.
I've already said. No, actually, I have already said it on a podcast. I was going to breed my leopard DG Hypo Boy.
Okay. I was going to say, hopefully you're breeding it to a double recessive.
Yeah, I got my leopard DG Hypo Boy sitting there. So nice. I'm going to triple recessive. So I'm going to go with the leopard, try to hit a leopard, maybe a super leopard, depending on what I hit and stuff like that. But yeah, I was gonna breed to the leopard DG Hypo Boy. It's kind of funny because when I got him, so actually the story behind that one was I bought a Hypo DG. I got that snake and ended up dying the following day because of poor shipping. So the breeder was like, "Hey, I'll upgrade you or whatever." I got a leopard DG Hypo girl sitting there. If you want her, I know you want a male. I'm like, nah. I'm like, whatever. That's fine. It's cool. So I got that. Ended up being a male anyhow.
Oh,
I'm like, that worked out. That worked out great.
Sometimes.
And at that point, I just bought the zebra because like I sold my sports car for that snake.
I was gonna say that's not a cheap animal. So
not a cheap snake at all. I ended up selling my sports car for that one because at the time I really wanted it and I was trying to get out of the sports car payment and stuff like that, and I had equity in it, so I took the equity and bought that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, back in 2003, we paid $17,500 for our first spider.
Whoa!
And we bought a reverse trio, so 2.1 Mojaves for $27,500, I think it was.
I was going to ask you about that.
And what else do we buy? I paid $40 for my first banana. So... that's nuts. I think you made that money back throughout the years, though. At that point, for sure.
For sure. Like it's gonna be the same thing with the zebras. Eventually, going to come down. Not right away. It'll come down in price eventually, just like how Stranger did. But Stranger's co-dominant or whatever, incomplete. So like I knew that was going to come down anyhow because it's not recessive. Everyone's just going to start overproducing it like crazy, and the market's going to drop on it. But I remember when those things first came out, they were $9,000-$10,000 all day.
You talking about Stranger?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now they're down. Now you can get them for like $4,000 or $5,000.
That's still pretty good though.
Yeah, it's still nice. Like, I don't have any of it, but I know Carr wants to get into it and stuff, but
yeah, I want to get some Stranger in my collection.
I have a pastel Stranger clown that's 100% had hypo. I actually got it from Kyle Hoffman.
Oh, did you?
He's breeding. He just locked up with a hypo clown. I think it was last week. So, hopefully I'll be producing some nice stuff out of that. And I want to produce some Stranger stuff too. So, hopefully.
Yeah, I feel it. That was. Yeah, I mean, I'm not proud of it either. I mean, that's the same thing I did with the house loan. I mean, I took most of that money and stuff. I reinvested in my collection and stuff too. Probably, I was just like, fuck it. Went to Tinley and spent a lot of money at Tinley. and then the winter pickup too. I got that was expensive too. So I'm on my way. I'm on my way, man. So yeah, that's an investment. People are like, oh, you're crazy. People are like, you're crazy. I don't see why you spend that much money on snakes or you spend that much money on this. I'm like, just wait. I'm like, just wait. I mean,
it works, as long as you produce stuff,
as long as you take care of them and stuff like that, get the name out there and stuff like that, produce that high quality, it'll sell. I ain't worried about it. If it doesn't sell, I'm okay with keeping it back. Like I tell people, like, produce what you want to keep.
Yeah,
go your projects and stuff. Like produce. I'm gonna be with you though. I'm gonna have a lot of holdbacks with my projects, my double and triple recessive projects.
So. Well, that's the whole problem with double and triple stuff.
Yes,
you have to hold back like every female.
I mean, even 2 males, because as me and Carl were talking too, like I have that red stripe Enchi clown that doesn't want to breed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and I had no backup this year for him and stuff. So I had to turn around and go buy one and whatnot. And the backup's more power heavy than he is.
Yeah.
So I gotta wait to grow him.
I have a lot of introductory people that approach contact me to get into breeding, and I always tell people if you're gonna get a group of snakes, you better off buying like 2.6 rather than 1.3 because if that one male doesn't breed for you, you're screwed. You got nothing you're not going to produce anything. If you have 2.6, the one male can handle all 6 females most likely if the other doesn't do anything. So I mean, I always recommend people have backup males. Like when I produce something new, like I'll generally keep 2 males because sometimes you just have a male that just won't do well or just won't breed. You can have like an 800-gram male that just sits there and doesn't do anything, and it's like, why aren't you breeding? You're big enough, you're old enough, you got everything, but so you kind of need that backup every once in a while.
Yep. That's my red stripe right now. He just sits there. I'm like, dude, like, come on, like, go, like, do something. Then you got those ones that will walk up to a garden hose, as Carr says.
Yeah.
So I feel you, man. I learned that one this year for sure. I gotta have those backup males. I mean, that pastel pied boy that I got off because, like, remember I won that contest through you? I got that $400 credit.
Yeah, yep.
Mm-hmm. He's a monster, dude. Check out how big he is now. He's a monster. I think he's getting ready to go in the shed too. But I mean, he's going in the shed. Look how big he is now.
Yeah.
He's solid. I got that super special too off of you. He's doing pretty good too. I didn't use them this year though. That super special still a little small. I am using that pastel pie to make some heads though. So I do like pastel and pie. I think it belongs.
Pastel, it's some pastel Enchi pies are really cool.
Oh yeah, they're really cool. Like it's awesome.
Right. I just love orange dream and pies though. That's
I do too.
Yeah.
Because I got an OD extreme gene girl that I'm breeding him to right now. So I haven't seen too much with the extreme gene and pie and whatnot. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I'm doing a lot of OD pied combos this year, OD black pastel or OD YB black pastel pieds. And I'm actually trying to get it into like the albino pieds. I'm trying to do orange dream, Enchi, albino pieds, orange dream, yellow belly, albino pieds. And then same thing with dreamsicles as well. I actually just produced a couple of OD YB dreamsicles this year, and
those are nice
dreamsicles. Yeah, they're really, really nice.
Right. Are you into Mandarin at all?
I do have Mandarin. Yeah,
you do.
I have a pair. I actually just produced I produced some Mandarin double head albino pieds just a few weeks ago, actually. My goal would be to do like the super Mandarin albino pieds, because I think those would be a nice bright orange albino.
Yep. Super Mandarin is where it's at.
Yeah, yep. I'm going to be adding that to some different projects, clown and the usual suspects, clown and pied and every
You see that one that Kabelka got, the OD Mandarin hypo?
Oh yeah, yep.
That's so sexy. I love that. I love hypo. I absolutely. You have hypo? You work with hypo?
God, I've had hypo. Hypo was actually the first visual gene I ever bought.
Really?
So back around 2000, everything was expensive. Like the simplest thing. Like I bought a het albino male for $1,000 back in like right around 1999, 2000. I bought a het pied male for $1,000. I bought a het Jalap Xanthic for $1,000. I bought a het caramel male for $1,000. Like I bought these het males, and then I actually had 10 adult normal females. And I bred these het males to all these normal females and kept back all the possible het females. And so the first visual ball python I ever had in my collection was a hypo male. I think I paid like $1,250 for him or something like that back in maybe like 2001-ish, 2002.
Bad.
No, it must have been 2001. Anyway, I like hypo. I've done a lot with hypo over the years. Mostly now I use it as a tool for other projects like hypo clown, hypo
right
stuff. But yeah, I do have some really nice hypos in my collection.
Kai want to know: will you produce more toffee or candy clowns?
Yeah, I actually have some Toffino clowns and Toffino Enchi clowns right now that are available. The problem with those is, it takes a while to figure out what they are. Like when they all hatch, they look like albino clowns, but some of them are Toffino, and but I'm working on trying to just make pure toffee clowns, because I think Toffinos are great, but I want to separate albino from toffee as much as I can, because it just takes more of the guesswork out of it. But I actually I'm breeding a toffee pied to a clown pied right now, pastel clown pied right now, so I can get that project going. And I have Toffino black pastel het clowns that I'm growing up to breed into my my albino clown stuff. And I've got a Toffino clown female breeder, and I've got a Toffino Enchi breeder clown male. So I'm mixing that stuff quite a bit, but I think the toffee clown, I haven't produced one of those yet, but the toffee clown I think is going to be really nice.
That'd be pretty badass.
I'm trying to get like black pastel. I'm trying to get a lot of darker genes. Like I'm working spot nose, leopard. Trying to think of what other Enchi. That's not a dark gene, but it's still pattern. But yeah, spot nose, leopard, GHI. Working all that into the albino and Toffino and toffee clowns right now.
Do you have one more quick question before I let you go? Because I gotta get going too. Because I got my game starting here. I know you got company.
Yeah.
So
were you ready for tonight?
I'm a Michigan fan.
Michigan, okay.
Yeah, I'm a Michigan fan.
That must have felt really good last week.
Oh, it did. It was great. I talked so much crap to all Ohio State fans, man. But now they got back in the playoffs and stuff. I'm like, man. But so,
hold on. I want to stick with that for just a second.
Okay, go ahead.
So we spent Thanksgiving in Dublin, Ohio, which is a suburb of Columbus.
Yeah, I know.
We were down there, and so we went to see my wife's stepmother lives down there, and her son is her son and his wife, are huge Ohio State fans, like gigantic Buckeye all the time.
Right, that's how they always are here.
So we were actually invited to watch the game between Michigan and Ohio State last week, but we didn't go because we needed to come back to Wisconsin. So we decided, we're just going to head back. I wish I would have been there. I don't have a dog in either one of, I don't, it doesn't matter to me that much, but it would have been funny to be at an Ohio State party.
You're watching with their ass whooped.
Exactly. Like that. And I felt bad. I felt bad for him, but actually if I would have gone to that party to watch that game, I would have enjoyed seeing all of the sorrow and chaos all around. But anyway, I mean,
Facebook was so quiet. It was so nice. I was like, yes, I was like the quietness of no Ohio State fans talking smack.
You live in Ohio, right?
Yeah, I live in Ohio too.
Yeah, but
so like that's all I hear, just Buckeye fans all around me and stuff like that. I'm like,
it's crazy.
It's a streak now.
Columbus is insane.
Yeah, we went. Me and my one buddy went to the game last year when it was in Michigan, and that was fun. We got on the field and stuff, and they stormed it. It was fun. We had a great seat.
Yeah.
Like I said, last question for you, real quick. The biggest one that's going out there is going around right now. Morph market recession, the ball python recession. What do you think? Have you noticed a slowdown in your sales? Where you think is going? I understand that the market's correcting itself right now, but like, what do you think?
Well, I think that we got really spoiled in 2020 and earlier 2021. Ball python. I actually raised the prices on a lot of my my blue-eyed leucistics, my albinos, my pieds. I was able to raise my prices on them because the demand was unbelievable.
Right.
But I think things are more back to normal as far as the ball python market. I mean, 2019, 2020, and 2021 were our most profitable years ever. Probably since like 2012, I think that year was incredible too. But anyway, I think that the market's kind of correcting itself, and so many people that got into breeding ball pythons over the past 3 or 4 years, we have a huge influx of available animals now. Like you just mentioned, morph market is loaded with ball pythons right now. That will cause people to inevitably get out. Because I've been breeding ball pythons for 22 years. I've seen ups and downs in the market. Good economy, bad economy. It's a cyclical thing. It's going to happen so many more times over the next 30 years or so.
It's like a stock market.
Yeah. I mean, right now, stocks are down, but right now might be a good time to get in because in 2 or 3 years from now, the economy will hopefully turn upwards again, and ball pythons might be. I mean, you have to think 3 or 4 years in advance. So if you buy into ball pythons right now, you're not going to really see any results from that for 3 or 4 or 5, 6 years from now. So. Getting in right now, you're buying low, and when you're producing stuff, you
can sell high, hopefully.
Yeah. So I mean, I've heard the market is crashing so many times over the past 20 something years, and I don't listen to it. I just do what I do,
right?
And I'll make what I make, and whatever happens. And
that's like how I buy stuff too now. Like I'm buying for 3 to 4 years of where I think the market's going to go. I'm not buying for right now.
You can't. I mean, it's such a long term. Like ball pythons, I always tell people are a lesson in patience. You're not gonna buy into something and double your money overnight. It takes years, and you have to. You gotta like. I know a lot of people that spent money on ball pythons that didn't know how to breed them and didn't do anything with them, and so you need to take the time to learn to master your craft, and learn how to breed them, and
learn how to sex them, stuff like that.
Yeah, all that stuff. You gotta take the time. And so, like right now, if the market is down, which I think the market is down. I mean, compared to a year ago, my snakes are selling a lot slower. They're still selling pretty well, and I'm doing great, but. A year ago, it was a lot easier to sell snakes for more money and quicker. So right now would be a great time to invest in ball pythons because it'll keep going. It's not like ball pythons are just going to lose the interest of reptile keepers, and
Right.
all of a sudden 1 year nobody's going to want ball pythons. There's no bigger, better thing that's going to come along than ball pythons. So I think if you invest wisely, invest in the right animals, put the time in, gain the knowledge to do what you need to do, you'll be fine. Though I think the only way you can lose on breeding ball pythons is to give up, or to invest horribly, or to have like a disaster, like God forbid if you have them in your house will burn down or something like that.
Right.
Obviously, that's gonna alter your ability to be successful with them, but. As long as you're smart about it and you invest in the right animals, you got to get healthy animals too. That's I don't know how you can lose. I mean, unless you just buy like the dumbest gene combinations where you're not going to have anything good and sellable when you
have no plans too, right?
Yeah, you gotta
find like everywhere. You have no breeding plans. Like, okay, you may got this $12,000 or whatever snake, but like, where are you gonna breed it to? I don't know. Well, that's a problem.
Well, and that's just that comes down to the individual person. I mean, a lot of people dream, like they see like Justin's videos or my videos or anybody else's, and they see like, oh man, that'd be awesome to live that life. Well, not everybody's cut out to do it. Like I'm a very, very hard worker. I have a very organized brain. Like I can compartmentalize really well, and I can keep track of so many different things I have going on. And that's just not everybody. Like it's hard work to do this. Like anybody thinks that breeding ball pythons, like, oh yeah, I produced 30 clutches last year and I made $1 million. Like that doesn't happen maybe a couple people have done it, but for the most part, like I make good money doing breeding ball pythons, but I really, really work hard, and I've taken my lumps over the years. Like I have so many years of experience doing this, and it's still a struggle for me. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. I don't want to say that like come off saying like, oh, it's just all work. It's a lot of fun. Like when I open my incubator and I see new babies hatching out, and I see something I've never seen before. Like that's so awesome. Like I love it.
Right. Or just cutting, just cutting your clutches and stuff. I remember cutting my first clutch. I was so excited. I was so like, you can't beat that joy. I'm sorry. You can't put a price on that. I'm sorry.
I remember the day that I produced my first visual morph, which were albino ball pythons. I think it was in 2004. I had a clutch from I had an albino male at that time, and I bred him to a 50% possible het female that I produced a few years before, and I produced 4 albinos in that clutch. I remember just being so thrilled. I was actually I cut that clutch right before I went over to Green Bay. I live in Wausau, Wisconsin, which is kind of in the north central part of the state. Green Bay is about an hour and 45 minutes from me, and I was going over with my brother-in-law. Well, he lives over there. I was going over there to go to a Packer game that night. And I cut that clutch right before I left. And I just remember the whole ride over there. Like I was so happy. Like I finally produced albino ball python. So incredible. It was the first visual morph I've ever seen come out of an egg in my life. And, so I always remember like the feeling that I got back then. It was so great, and that's what keeps me going on all this. It's like, and nowadays, sometimes after you've hatched like 1,800 babies in a season, like the last thing you want to see are more ball pythons crawling out of the eggs. It's like, where am I going to put these, and how am I going to manage them all? But it's still such a great feeling seeing stuff hatching out. It's so cool.
All right, guys. Well,
definitely.
I'm going to endorse Reggie too, because we had Reggie on here last week. So make sure you guys go over to Snake Man's podcast. Vote for Reggie for the 15 minutes of lame.
Reggie's an awesome dude.
He's awesome. We had him on here last week. It was, or a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. It was fun. It was a fun time. We had a fun podcast that time.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he is. So I'm gonna let you go, Garrick. Thank you for coming on. I'm gonna come over there sometime and take over your facility at some point. I know I've talked to you about before. It just didn't happen that year, unfortunately, but I'm gonna come visit you. I'm gonna come take your facility over. One of these days I will.
All right.
Man, make a 419 Morse video. We're going over to Garrick's. We're gonna take over his stuff. Want to see all his secrets? Gonna pull them all out. No, I'm just kidding. So hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Enjoy your dinner party, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a good one.
All right, sounds good. See you guys later.